Yes,
Hi, y'all.
we are live. Shoot the shit. Joey Zaza. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Uh,
Is it this one?
Following presentation openly expresses things, shares without limitation, social divisions, unless you count some of our hosts' lack of decency and bad jokes. Your discretion is advised.
You're getting better at that. I
I'm
like
trying.
that. Everybody, this is me saying,
Hello.
how we doing? Once again, Joey Zaza here with Sandy. Shoot the shit. Coming from Torre del Viejo. I am absolutely exhausted.
You better be.
Woo, man, I am absolutely exhausted. Working at
So
back.
why? Why are you exhausted today?
All right, for the past 2 days, I've been building a forge in the backyard. So the ground is frozen, which is good
Right?
because however you cut it, it's gonna stay like that.
Because
It's
we're
kind
in
of like
Ohio.
pre-molded and yeah. But it's rough to get through that frozen ground. And then figure everything out. And then we build a box bellow.
Right.
And the box bellow is anybody seen old samurai movies or clips of blacksmiths? It's a box, and that's how they get the air into the fire. You need more air to create more heat along with the fuel, and you have to get the metal up to a certain degree. And without a bellow or a hair dryer, some people use hair dryers, old hair dryers or vacuum cleaners, and you put it to blow, and that's how they get that extra heat. But I'm trying to do it as if it was completely off the grid.
Right. So you're not trying to use electricity to get the forge running.
No electricity, and so far it's working. Yeah, we can get it up to higher temperatures, but I think it's just a matter of playing with the fuel itself.
Right.
We're not doing like coal or anything like that. It's the regular what you use for the barbecue briskets
Okay.
and wood. I just put the wood to the side and have it dry up a little bit because it was raining. Let it dry up little by little, and then once it's dry, we put it on top of the actual fire. It lights up, especially since we have pine. The pine is good because it lights up, and that's why
Fine
we
is good.
decided to do it in the ground.
Okay.
So that it's easier to control. Marisa, how are you? We love you.
I love you, Marisa.
So before we get into the first thing, you know what we're gonna do today?
We're gonna do what? What
While we're
are we doing?
shooting the shit, obviously, we're gonna do block letters.
Okay. I got a question though.
Okay.
Before you even go into doing the block letters, right? Um, I remember the last time we did a segment with drawing and we had our guest over. We had Flavor and Cans, right? And the guys, um, they're like, you got to start with your tag. I'm still stuck on that point, which is what kind of like stalled me with everything else. I don't know what to tag myself, so I'm gonna like put it out there. Any suggestions for tags for me?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Man, that's so difficult because everybody's run through quite a few in their lifetime. You don't just stick with one. You start with one, and then you move up to another one. You move up to another one. I went from, if I'm not mistaken, I went from Sly SLY because in the late '80s, it was told to me. I don't know if it was true or not, but you're not gonna argue with the older cats, right? But
No.
at the time, you had to have three letters.
Okay.
For some reason, I have no idea. That's the way it was sold to me. So I went with Sly, SLY. From
Okay.
there, when I hit Puerto Rico, it was Kid Time,
Kid.
Tyme. That quickly changed into JCK.
I remember meeting you at JCK.
Right, just a creative kid. So
Yes.
JCK, I ran with JCK for a while until I started using Zaza,
Right.
Cacique, Coño is my favorite.
I think so. You like coño a lot.
I like Coño. It's just
El
the ñ,
coño.
the ñ,
Ño.
ñ.
Ña, ña,
So,
ña.
mhm. So you can just right now just SAN, SAND.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try to do the coño, right? And block letter. This is. It will be easier. What happened?
Marisa says she can be the que to your coño.
There you go.
This is why you are sobrina.
um, this will be easier if you have a ruler, right? But I was told once by an old graph artist that that's cheating. When you're
Okay.
practicing, try to do it without the ruler.
Okay.
And Grandpa told me that a few times. Learn the line. He was always about learning the line. If you don't understand the line, you don't. It's nothing. No matter what you do, it's bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it takes some practice in order to like fully understand it. I can go on for hours explaining about the line, but until you realize it with this, it's kind of very kung fu-y.
Very kung fu-y.
So
So,
what we're gonna do, I'll
confession
draw it
before
first.
you
Yes.
um Miss Felices needs a pencil that has a point.
Are you serious right now?
I swear, I need a sharpener.
Do you have a well, run and
I,
get one.
I got
No,
a pack of markers in front of me. Can I use any of those?
it's up to you. It's good. Yeah, you can use a marker.
Well, then I'm okay because I
The
have
good
plenty.
thing the good thing about pencil is that you can erase it.
Okay.
Do you have an eraser too?
I have an eraser. I just don't have
Okay, hold on. Stay right there.
the tension. I am not prepared for class. I am unprepared. I thought I had the pencil, and when I looked, I don't have the point. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Coach Joey. Fun fact, we live in the same home. Okay, the line. I see a rectangle. I'm cheating so that I can catch up. All right.
Okay, let me get this a little closer. You're gonna start with the rectangle.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, Let me get a pencil for myself.
Oh, such a teacher. You gave your student the pencil that you were using.
Of course. Okay. Now,
He's in denial.
I'm doing 4 letters, right? So I'm gonna split that in half. This
Okay.
I would be doing this. You don't see, you can't truly appreciate just how dark I'm doing it. It looks light on camera, but
Uh-huh.
it's too dark for my taste. In fact, I'm gonna do this better. I'm going to do it with a magic marker, just so it'll come out.
So you're dividing the rectangle into the amount of letters that you're going to be working with. Is that
Exactly. Since I'm gonna be working 4 letters, I'm gonna do this, then this. You guys got it. So this is really easy stuff. Now, what is it that I'm going to write? I'm going to write coño, right? CONYO. Now, people try to, when it comes to block letters, it's easier if you imagine you're sculpting it. It's a block, and you're going to sculpt that block, right? So let's make the first one look like a C. A C would be, let me close this. I would have to make this look like it goes around like that. Okay.
okay?
So this is really simple. I just made the C. I'm gonna do the O. Everybody has their tastes. For some reason, I tend to drop the whole of the O to the side.
Yeah, you kind of like offset it.
I've always done that. Why? I have no flipping idea. I love the way it looks. Since I know the last one is also an O, I'm going to do the same here and try to make it as even to the first one. Right? Now, the N could be a little tricky. I can do it with just lines. I hate doing it with just the lines here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. And I'm going to cut out that part of the N. Now, a trick is, unless you start going abstract with your letters, you kind of want to, and once again, guys, this is basic stuff. From here, you pull out 1,001 different styles. Okay? You want to make sure that the bottom part of your N, let me get, this is why your tag and what it is that you draw go hand in hand.
Okay.
We have the top part of the N, right? Or the N.
Right.
You see the little, that little dip? Then we have the little dip here. Now we have to start working on this. Now the actual construction of the letter right here, when you write it, is the same thing here, which means that the end of this part of the N going from up and down, you see this little corner over here of the ink? It's in a direct alignment with the top part. And then here would be in alignment, with this. Once I do it, it'll make a lot more sense. But that's a detail.
Yeah, because I was confused there.
It's a detail that it's going to stick with you. You see here, top part, I'm going to go all the way down. Then here, whoop, that's where I'm going to end it.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now.
Okay? Like I said, this is very, very basic stuff. Now, ready for the next step? Do I keep going or am I going too fast?
No, you're good. At least for me, you're fine.
All right. Now, since we're going basic with it, this would be the time for you to decide what changes you're going to make to it and what colors you're going to use on the inside. I have a line there that shouldn't be there. Let me see if I can get this little line out. You guys can't see it, but I can, and it's driving me absolutely bonkers. Okay. Now, here is where we start giving a bit of dimension, what we call dimension to it. You pick one spot. I'm going to pick, let's say, I'm going to pick right here. I'm going to pick offset. Can you guys see that dot that I did?
Yes.
All right. For this, I am going to use a ruler. And I'm going to use a pen. And I'll go over it with a marker. Now, when you do stuff like this is why I say I wanted to start off with a pencil.
Okay.
So you can take certain things like here. Let me bring it closer to the camera. I would want to take this out, this little line, and this little line.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm not like trying to make a drawing. I'm just teaching you guys the basic of it. Now, let me bring this up. This is where we're going to use the ruler. This is how we're going to start giving it dimensions. The 3D style, pretty
Okay.
much started off from here. Between this and shading is how you're going to start making things pop a little bit more. This is really flat.
So
Okay.
this is 2 dimension, right? We're looking at 2D right now.
Yep. Up and down. That's it.
Up and down.
So look, you're going to start at your point with the ruler.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to every division, be it a corner, be it a line, be it whatever, as long as it's the edge, quote unquote, the edge of the letter. Right? So I'm going to start here and I'm going to bring it up. I don't know why it's here, all the way to the tip.
To the very edge of the bottom of the C.
And I trace my line.
Okay.
Hopefully that can be seen.
Yep,
Got
we
it?
can see that line. It's
Okay.
clear.
Now from the exact same spot here, with ink, it's a bitch because what's going to happen is you're going to continue to bleed off ink.
Gotcha.
Okay. But for sake of here, I'm going to, boom. Now I'm going to go to the edge of the C. And I'm going to continue to do that with each and every letter and corner of every letter.
Okay.
So while we're doing that, let's speak of some other letters. UFC.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, I'm
Wait.
not the only one that has been saying Amanda Nunes is not really a double champ because there's no fucking 145 division.
Seems to be the case. Hold on. Marisa says, so basic 1-point perspective?
Yes.
There you go, Marisa.
And I'm even going to do the same thing with the top. Since I know there's a space in between the two little legs. I'll show you guys this. Okay. This is the line I wanted to take out. Can you see this, Andy?
Sorry.
I wanted to take that one out because I knew that one was going to be in there.
Okay.
Now, one thing to get...
I see what you did. So
I'm going to see if I can have like a white marker, a paint marker or something so I can get rid of this line, and you'll be able to see it better. But now you see how you give it a bit of dimension. If you guys, very important. When you're tracing out your letters, and everybody does this at least 10 times while they're drawing, remember, this is the face of your letter here. What you're doing is the 3D part or the dimension, the thickness of that letter, right? The mass of the letter. Don't draw a line by accident going across the face of your letter. Unless you're doing it on purpose, that's a no-no because it's going to take away from a lot of work that you've already done. If you were to have whiteout, right? You make a mistake like that. Is this? Please work. Whiteout should be able to get rid of, but this one does not.
I don't think I have any correction pens. They haven't brought them to crayons.
Regardless, you know for a fact, you know now. Here's a pencil. Maybe the pencil will work a little bit. Not much, but it'll help you see a little better what it is that I'm talking about. Can you see that?
Hold on, I'm still drawing my lines. What am I looking at? Okay, yeah.
So now, the face of your letters. Now's the time to fill that in with whatever color you may want to fill in. Here's a couple of things when you're using markers and stuff like that. Let me grab a few. Here's that you guys may be familiar with. Here's a regular Sharpie. Here's a Sharpie paint marker. Highlighter. You have your pens. You have your good. Okay, let's talk markers for a second. And Sandy, I know you got some really nice markers for Christmas.
Christmas was good to me. Santa loves me.
Um, this this is the Kambumba right here. The paint one.
Gambumba.
Yeah. The Congo Yambumba right here. This is
I love those words.
this is the shizzles. This paints over absolutely everything. Okay. These do not.
Okay.
You can probably get a Sharpie, regular Sharpie marker, over something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you wanted to do something green with the yellow. You're gonna have to do the yellow line first. Let's say if I wanted to have a line going across the coño in yellow, but I want the majority of the face of the letter to be green. I can't expect to paint the whole thing green and then have a highlighter on top of it. I'm not gonna get this color if it's
So
this
basic
color that I'm
light
looking for.
first.
So what I would do is do a line going across
Uh-huh.
and then carefully put this one around it. So I'm gonna do that on a part of it. And while we're doing that, I meant to ask you because I think we spoke about it in one of the other podcasts, and it was measures that schools hopefully now, well, at the time it was hopefully now they realize that we need measures for different things, and unfortunately for pandemics um in schools. Has there been any progress in that you've seen?
No, actually, I've me personally, I've seen um a how can I say?
Can you see
I
that?
think it's a
See how I put them offset?
yeah. I like the way you did that. So you didn't just draw a line all across. You kind of played with where
You
your line
can.
is going.
You can.
Okay.
You can
That's
go
where the
straight across.
creativity kicks in. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Hold on. We got Marisa that says markers. I have a basic pack of Sharpies and some alcohol markers from Walmart. That should be fine.
Flamable.
Y sabor.
Espérate, flamable. Yo, por si acaso puedes, deja enviarte un invite.
So while you're sending him the invite to answer your question, I have been talking to other teacher friends and seeing what they're doing right now. Here in Cincinnati, Cincinnati public schools have gone virtual until at least towards the end of this week because there's so many staff members that have been out due to COVID. Um, and they don't have enough quality substitutes. That's the standard um, answer that administrators are giving in the schools. We in the district that I work in have recently just got back from a 2-day hiatus where we didn't have enough people to cover, and we wanted to make sure that everyone was safe. So they gave like these 2 days for people to stay home, hunker down. Um, and other people to kind of like recover. They still needed a couple more days. So in order to give that opportunity for people to come back, they did. And I did see staff members that came back today after being out for quite some time. So apparently, what was expected as far as the spike in COVID cases kind of jumped after the holidays. Duh. Um, which is why we didn't have our salsa meltdown. We like, hey, if you know, if you're quarantined and you didn't hang out for the past week and you know that you don't have any symptoms, then you know we're good. But that's kind of hard to ask of people who are not used to doing those things. It's not hard for me to say, well then don't come by, because we all have our different needs and perspectives. As far as the schools are concerned, they're still following CDC mandates. The problem that I see is that's happening is the consistency behind it. I think that's on a person to person basis, because teachers are people, and you have people that are careful, conscious, and you have people that are following the rules, but not necessarily as careful or
Let me
conscious.
pause it
Does
right
that make
there real
sense?
quick. Yes. Let me show you real
That
quick
looks
so we can
really
continue.
nice.
Like I said, esto es básico. It's para que vean, so you got, we got somebody
Hi,
coming
mom.
through. Esto es básico para que vean how you would, if you wanted that yellow line, because
Uh
of the
huh.
type of marker it is, how you would have to actually draw around it. Know where it
Okay.
is that you want that line and pretty much do the negative, I guess it would be.
Interesting.
Now from there, let's bring them over here en lo que coge mejor señal. Hopefully we get them on. Okay, now let's talk pencils. Hopefully everybody's with us still. When it comes to pencils, Crayola is just not really going to work it,
Okay.
because whatever pencil you leave is going to leave some of whatever this is made of on the paper.
So, oh, I was actually looking into that, right? Because that, during our break or whatnot, and they were saying something about um, some is wax and others are plastic,
Mm-hmm.
and that determines how much they actually stay versus how much they allow others to go over.
And how thick it goes on.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. That was pretty
Because you can
interesting.
have, let me show you two different types. Okay. Hopefully, you can see them. The one on the top, the red one,
Pull
is a
back just a little bit.
very thin.
Okay.
Okay. Then the one on the bottom, the blue one, is a premier. Now
Okay.
they're both from Prismacolor, and
Oh,
I trust Prismacolor hands down.
okay. So that's like the Craftsman, or what used to be the Craftsman,
But
right?
one, I don't even know. I don't know how good the mic is. Let me try to see if you could hear. Could you hear that scratch? Versus one is gonna kind of like scratch more than the other. The premiers are
Okay.
son más suave. Los
Gotcha.
premiers que los very thins. So it's not that one is better than the other. Algo como esta, los very thins son buenos para los detalles. When you're shading and you're doing details, this will be the good one. This one to fill in and for shading, this is absolutely amazing because this will mix in with everything. You can moisten your finger and use your finger to actually blend it also.
Nice.
Uh, if I'm not mistaken, that's what this is for. This is not a joint. Okay, before anybody, this is not a joint.
Are you sure?
I'm absolutely sure. This is that little rolled up piece of paper that comes with when you buy art kits and stuff like that.
Right, right.
Really, really tight. See, that's you wouldn't be able to smoke that. This is for actually um blending colors from the
Blending
pencils.
in the colors. Quick question on behalf of Marisa. How many colors? She's
That's
asking.
all up to you. That's
And
all
it's
up to you.
called tortillon.
The what's called it the joint thingy.
Yeah.
Okay, tortillon. That sounds like a big cookie, but sounds like a really big cookie. I even forgot what the hell we were talking about. Okay, yeah, the
We're
colors.
talking about
Okay,
blending.
um, yo personalmente, if I'm going to, and I'm sorry everybody for sabor sigue o no habla de ahí mismo. Trata de conectarte. Eso es que la conexión está floja donde está. Pero what I was about to say is when I'm thinking about shading something, right? Giving it, I always think three colors.
Okay.
Yo personalmente siempre pienso una. O sea, if I'm gonna do something green, I think of the green. This is how I think of it. I'm gonna put my fingers here. The green is my main color. Well, I'm not even gonna say green. My main color. I want one that's darker. I want one that's lighter. Because
Okay.
wherever you have light, on the opposite, you're gonna have shade.
Right.
So if you want something to pop out, like look at my finger there, the light is coming in from this area here.
Okay.
So you have, let's say brown, right? There's hundreds of different colors that make up the pigment of the skin. No matter what skin color, it's hundreds of pigments, right?
Right.
That's how you have these old British European painters using purple and green and orange, and when you step back, it's oh shit, it's a dude, and all they did was smear colors. So you have the brown here. This is your main color. Down here, you're gonna see where the shade is. Everything gets darker, right?
Okay.
And on the opposite, you have what? You have the lighter,
You have the lighter, correct.
telling you where the light is. So don't just get caught up on where the shade is. Also think on the opposite, you have to have the same amount of light that you have shade. So
Correct.
I always try to think a base of 3, and then you can add on from there. Oh, I want it to be más claro. I want it to be darker. And the more shading you give it, the more things you can do with it. Right? And when I say with it is uh oh, this is
So
perfect.
is that what Flavor's saying next? Going with the rest on the family. So is he talking about the color scheme?
No, yo creo que es que va a descansar. Ahí sí con
Ah,
la familia.
I'm over here like, okay, Flavor say something.
So check,
I'm
you
eager to
can
learn.
you can if this was just a block, right? The
Right.
green part was just a block.
Hmm.
You'd see it has light, medium, and dark. But then
Correct.
the more you play with the shading itself, you have now you can create bumps on it.
Mira, te llamaron estúpido.
All right, boom. I'm gonna see if I can do this real quick. Uh Flat green, right? That's the green. Usa los colores que son familia.
Okay, so I was right.
So here I go lighter, and
Mm-hmm.
darker,
Okay.
right? Uh, let's see if this actually works. I would actually need one lighter than that. I'm gonna put just a
You're fine.
little bit of white here.
But I understood it, Flay. You got it. I was right.
And the light can barely pick up.
Okay.
And now you have a bubble on it.
I see the bubble. Okay.
But
So
I
that's what
never
that's
drew
what
a
he's saying.
circle. So, and see, the
No.
circle was never drawn. Lo más que usé fue un semicírculo.
Okay.
And there you have white, you have a lighter green, you have the green que ya estaba ahí, plus a darker
Uh-huh.
green.
Okay.
So yeah, like Flay says, keep it in the family of colors. I've also seen people, it's no son mucha gente que lo pueden hacer, right? And but I've seen people like, okay, it's green, and they use something like orange or pink, something que de verdad que es completamente como que eso no mezcla, but somehow or another, oh shit, eso es la luz. You know what I mean? Like there's this
Like an
fuck.
accent.
Yeah, like there's this dude. Válgame, Flay, si tú sabes el nombre de este tipo, por favor, escríbelo ahí. Es uno que ahora está haciendo, yo creo que todas las piezas de él son caras, pero él lo hace ver como si tuviera, like he was in a neon light, como una luz fosforescente de diferentes colores. And it just looks absolutely insane. All right, so we get back to this. Now you would decide, well, since I already did the bubble there and the light smug, okay, that dude, people look him up. It's oof, really, really good work. So, let me show you this. Since I did this right here, and I already got the light, even though it was just an example, ya tengo la luz de arriba abajo.
Mm-hmm.
Lo más prudente para mí would be to keep all of this. Well, hold on. It's hard to do this. I'm looking at the camera instead of looking at what I'm doing, and I don't know left from right here. I'm like Sandy. This is what you feel like all
Hey.
the time. So since I already have the dark part here, the most prudent thing would be leave all of this darker than whatever's up here.
Right. That's what I was going to ask. Are you going to put color into the dimension going into those lines that's under?
Yeah, because then that would help this actually pop out.
Pop out even more. So it's like, okay.
Yeah, so
So we're basically doing like the Star Wars effect.
Yes, yeah. Well, you know what? Star Wars, I think, had a big influence.
Dale, primo, buen provecho. Enjoy your break.
Yeah.
Love you. See you soon.
I think those Star Wars letters had a big effect. At least it did on me.
Okay.
On knowing that, okay, yeah, it's 3D is going away from you far, but it was really easy to see dimension and how to make flat letters just disappear, what we call disappear into the horizon.
Right.
And it's just a matter of taking the top of the face of your letter, right? We already spoke about what the face, la cara de la letra, the face of the letter is. It's just a matter of making the top part, if let's say the top part is what you want to fade because it's going away from you.
Okay.
The top part would be smaller than this part. I'm going to grab another magic marker. So let's say the outside Yeah, I'll do it over here because you don't want to waste paper.
Never.
Instead of just having the square O like this, if I wanted it to go away, then you still do all four parts of the O. But now it'll look like this. And you would have still the line of the O going away from you.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you give it a what is it? A trapezoid shape to push it away rather than.
Pero también hay que notar ahora, and this is when things get tricky. This is why I say it's sculpting. Es como hacer una escultura. Let's say your point was here.
Mm-hmm.
Now these lines, let's call them the 3D lines,
Right.
are coming from two different angles. So you have to know where you're putting them. You see? Yo personalmente, I would cut it here.
I can't see where you're pointing at. Cut it where? Oh, okay.
In that middle line.
And you'd leave it there. You wouldn't continue the line?
No, I leave it right there. Okay. So a trick that helped me, vamos a decirle puedo usar esto, which I love this book. El pensamiento vivo de Che Guevara. Okay? Imagine this is my O. Mm-hmm. Yo he cogido cosas así and go, okay, I want it in this direction.
So you were trying to simulate that was something that I didn't realize, and this is coming from somebody who is drawing, who's been trying to draw for a long time.
Look at it, cuando la pego, mira lo que sucede.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's following the same. Yeah. You see, if I were to measure the screen.
This and this is the same size, but mientras va más lejos, más chiquito se ve.
Yeah. It's the optical illusion.
Then once you start adding your shades and stuff like that to it, then you give it even more.
Saludo, John. How you doing, mijo?
John Wizzy, man, we're missing some of those blends today.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
He needs to hit us off or something. Perspective is the name. Yes, the perspective. So yeah, now this, if you have a funky color, this you could leave it like that, whatever. You can work around it, give it different colors around it, your letters. You can do whatever you want with this space here. Because remember, this is the face. So, si es la cara, pues ponle todo el maquillaje que ustedes crean que necesite. Everything from, let's say, this is something that was common. Era bien común en graffiti por alguna razón. Pero después de ahí nació otro movimiento de línea. And it's just doing stuff like that.
Flavor likes the maquillaje.
Ya con un par de líneas. Ya te la cambió.
Does. Yeah, it does. It gives it a whole different rhythm or animation to the letters.
Then it would all depend on how you want them to come through, the lines, how you want them to look, what shape you're trying to give it. This is also very important. Once again, know the lines. Know how to throw those lines as straight as possible. Um, todo mundo que dibuja, especialmente si tatúan. That's dead ass, especially if you tattoo. Perfect circles and perfect lines son una pesadilla. They are a freaking fucking nightmare. So don't be too hard on yourself. Like, damn, I can't draw a straight line to save my life. Nobody really can.
Yeah, I noticed that when we went to the museum, and
That's why
when
they
we were
invented rulers.
looking at nice, we were looking at the paintings. There were certain things that had to be straight or look straight, but it really wasn't, and then you saw kind of like um a lot of cleaning up afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I usually end up doing a lot of cleaning up stuff
Okay.
because I have the bad habit, just like the way I play guitar, I
Hmm.
have to have an anchor. Yo necesito tener
Gotcha.
ancla, pero por lo menos abuelo decía que cuando ya se brega con óleo, ya esa pendeja se acabó. You don't have an anchor. It's also when you're hitting the wall with spray cans, you don't have an anchor. Viste, si Flavors conoce de algún truco que hay de usar el ancla, pero yo nunca he visto a nadie usar una ancla. Like, an anchor, people would be like putting your hand down in order to do this and just use the movement of your fingers. Some people, I've done it myself. You have to see by just keeping this here, a pivot point, that's called an anchor. And there's certain mediums you can't get away with that. That no hay nada,
Flavor
dice Clay.
confirms, no hay nada.
So which is
Pulso,
why it's
pulso.
probably why they taught when I was learning, they taught me yeah, no, don't rely on this.
Hmm.
Because this is another type of anchor, if you think about it.
No, it's a point that of contact, and you're running across. So yeah, in your drawing, you need a point of contact in order to create an anchor.
Now, yeah, you can do stuff like this. You can let me see if I have another one here that shows you how you can fill up the face. Ah, this is a cool one. This one isn't done yet. See, what I did is I used what was filling up the face to actually give it the dimension.
Right.
See, because by itself, it was just some bubble letters. So then the face is what defines the letters. See, there's a
Gotcha.
difference. Something I like to do is when one letter touches another, I like to give it a different color, as you can tell right there in the middle. It kind of helps with the effect, and anything that goes over the dark gives it an extra light effect. Then once you go detailed, like the leaf, like there, what I'm hoping to do is actually put uh, um, the shading of it, because there, the leaf may have some type of dimension, but the leaf itself on whatever it is flat.
Gotcha.
All right, here's another example, and this is fantastic. And this is actually esto es gracias Flay, who put me on to the gel pens. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
All it is lines. I didn't fill it in. I filled it in, but I filled it in with just lines. This is why I say understanding a line, because then once you see the whole thing, it blends in the eye and it gives you that light effect. Now, in this one, it was by default that I had to use the gel pen. Why? This here, this is Sharpie, this red. And going over a Sharpie, like we said, if it's not gel or if it's not pen, you're not drawing over it. It's gonna be very difficult. Unless you get like let's say a soft wax pencil.
Uh-huh.
Yes, the paper letters. This like I love these paper letters. I've always loved paper letters, and I always like playing with the shading. And something that I do. This is something that everybody can try. I won't keep if I'm going past like this is an empty spot, white, right? This was the supposed wall, right? The quote unquote wall coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, behind it. Now I made sure, even though la sombra va de aquí, debajo, completa, right? Boom. I made sure that this color for shading and this one was two different ones. See what I'm saying? And then here and up here is different because it's in, if you look at it, este canto la pared in the drawing is further back than this one, which is
Got you.
why it doesn't take the same shape as this. Because if you have one thing over another, you see the shade there of the pen, right? If I
Uh-huh.
do this, look how it distorts. The shade is not at the same point on the paper that it is on the other magic marker. Well,
Right.
it is now, it isn't.
Got you.
So when you're doing shading, it's good to keep that in mind. I do this a lot, and I used to do it even more. And it's, si yo voy a pintar algo similar a un bolígrafo, pues yo voy a agarrar un bolígrafo. I'm like, I want this like this. I want this like that. I want this like the other. Boom, 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 boom. I love paper letters. And when I was learning paper letters, and I'll still do it, I had a whole bunch of papers bent and rolled up and all that stuff and put in the position so I can follow the lines of it. So that's something that I think a lot of people should, especially specifically when you're learning, it's all
Mm-hmm.
right to do that. You want your letters in a block, take it, move it around. Sin eso, todo lo demás es whack. Yep. La sombra y la luz. There's a lot of artists. Let me not say that because it sounds like we're not like graff isn't artists. Other mediums that they have like these model mannequins.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen them? And they put them in different positions so they can draw the. Well, if you're doing letters, and let's say right now you're doing box letters, then grab something that's a box and play with the dimensions. I want this letter to go like this. I want this letter to go like that. And then start with your outlines. Do them light so you can erase them afterwards. Get them down packed. You know, I've known of people who will grab a not a lion because you don't want to fuck up a lion, right? But you grab a cheap ass eraser and you grab with a magic marker and you kind of like lightly outline the corners.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter where you put it, you can see the black line doing the corner. And you just pretty much imitate what it
Mm.
is that you see in front of you. If you could get like a little acrylic or black acrylic or glass block,
Okay.
same thing. There you can see it in all. There you definitely see it in 3D, and it's
En la
just a matter
escuela te
of
recuerdas con la botella de cristal o la fruta para dibujarla.
yep, yep, still life. That's
Still
that's
life.
what it is. Once you put something like this, it's still life.
On a side note, I remember Mama talking to us this summer about Papa's still life and how she really liked the way he did his still life.
It's for me, it's difficult because I'm trying to do exactly what I see there.
See, thank you for bringing that up because I remember when, and I'm talking about years ago, it wasn't until I started hanging out with you guys during your drawing sessions, right? Cuando llegaba Flay a casa and whatnot, and JJ, and you guys would just sit down and draw, doing exactly what we're doing now, right? Pretty much. Um, I used to always believe that you had to draw exactly, what that thing was. It wasn't that I was making it look like an orange or an apple or a tree. I thought I had to draw like every leaf on the tree in order to make a tree. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I've gone through it. I have gone through it.
So, for years I thought it had to be exactly what I was seeing, and I didn't, because I didn't understand the concept of the line or perspective. Um and definitely had no idea about light and shading. That came in afterwards when I actually started paying closer attention to the shading. And that's a tricky technique to understand.
The what? The perspective?
Shading, as far as the shading thing is, it's I guess it's also depending on the medium that you're using. Like, for example, I'm
Well,
using
I'm glad you
markers.
said that. I'm gonna see if any if I have a hard enough Prismacolor. We're
Hmm.
gonna do an experiment and see if I can get that darker green even darker in order to shade it down there.
Okay, so
We'll
in
see
the
how that works.
meantime, Flavor saying something about it's like a copy of something. You should draw what you see, because everything that's there is for a reason. In other words, you can't paint what you think is there. Is that what I understand? Basically saying, if you see a square, you see a square. If you see a circle, you see a circle. Eventually that'll be whatever image that you're trying to copy. But that's just it. I was trying to copy. I don't know. It's kind of like difficult to be able to see. So I see that you're trying to make something darker, that darker green.
You know what?
Okay, I got it.
The camera is not picking it up,
Yes, it is actually. I can see it.
but there is.
I can see the difference between what's right under the N versus, yeah, there's a line. I read it like it was. All right, thank you, Flavor. So yeah, that's exactly the point. Nice. And the devil's in the details, and
Now the detail is this, right? This this is your face, right? This is the face of the N.
okay,
This is the bottom of the N, so it's going to be darker,
right.
right? Now, this part in here is even deeper under than this. So you got to make sure that this is even darker than these two parts.
So that space is not lighter, it has to be darker because it's deeper in.
Watch this, right? You see my hand, you see the palm of my hand? If I
Hmm.
do this, see, this is still the bottom of my hand, still the bottom of my hand, but the deeper part of the inside of my hand is even darker than that.
Okay. Okay.
So it's pretty much you have to think 3D already. Now you shouldn't use black. The less black you use, the better. But just so you can see where it would be. I shouldn't have done this in pen. I mean, to show you this, to explain this, I've used a lot of techniques that I really normally wouldn't do.
But we're just doing this for the purpose of.
It almost looks like there's a hole in the paper.
Yeah.
There is no hole in the paper. It's just the play of colors that are in front of you. And that's what you're trying to do.
Okay.
So how'd yours come out? Let me see.
Oh, it looks like I smeared 10 pounds of makeup on it because I have the alcohol markers,
Mm-hmm.
and I still don't know how to control my stroke with those. So you'll see hard lines on it, but
Let me see. Yeah, that's.
I'm working on it.
What do you mean by hard lines?
Can you see the hard strokes across between the purple, the light, and then the orangey? That was supposed to be some other color.
Okay, but it's good.
Yeah, I still haven't finished coloring in the whole thing. I was just like playing with that as well, but the basics of it is
Well,
there.
that's all it is. Once you have the basics down, everything comes right along with it.
Yeah.
It's all about the basics. It's always about the basics. And the most basic thing is what? Is the line.
It's the line. Yeah.
Understand the line and everything else will fall through.
Es
Yeah,
entender
so
la
look, we'll
línea.
talk shit for the next 5 minutes. If anybody has any comments or anything they want to say, you know what I mean, or see, okay, I'm gonna give this last tip, this last trick. I use this a lot, especially when I'm like, I like to fill things up with Mendy type thing.
Right. Yeah, I like
Right?
Mindy too.
Okay, so let's say right now, all I'm gonna do is let me do it in the marker over here on the side real quick. I'm gonna do this. A petal, a leaf, part of an exclamation point, whatever you want to see. That's what I'm gonna do. But
Sorry, I was laughing at what Marissa says that she ain't going to any train yards anytime soon. So she said that she's
I'm gonna do it here.
okay.
All right, now this is just a little something I do every now and then, and I enjoy doing this. Right
Right, right.
now, you no longer have that tier, that upside down tier. You have an upside down tier that's split in 1, 2, 3, 4 sections.
Come
So
again?
I take this shape. Well,
Uh-huh.
hold on, let me put the cap on. All right, you
Careful.
have this shape, right? Boom, nothing behind it. It's plain. I took the same shape. I put it over there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections to play with.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yes,
now,
I see what you were saying.
yeah. So besides the fact you can, let me see how you can play with this. If I was to, and we're gonna go back to colors. Boom, 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 boom. Let me get something red-ish. And I'm doing this because it's Prismacolor and I can get away with shit like that, right? This is the hardest one. I know by experience that know your pencils. Tienes que conocer el medio que estás usando. If you don't know your medium, you're gonna be kind of proper fucked.
Well, that's exactly what I'm going through right now with the medium that I'm using.
So check this out. If I'm gonna do, let's say I fill in part of it with the red. All right. While I'm filling this out, I'm gonna ask, have you heard about this fight coming up? Yes, we do a lot of martial arts
We're talking
watching.
shit. Yeah, we're shooting the
Right.
shit.
Boom. Um, Diego Sanchez fighting again versus Kevin Lee. Have you even heard that? Your stunning silence is very reassuring.
Kevin Lee?
Yep.
This is not UFC though, right?
No.
Okay. I needed to clarify that because I was a bit no. I haven't
I
heard
don't think
that.
it should happen. For those who don't know, Diego Sanchez, besides the fact had a nut job for a manager and trainer that used to hang him upside down and hit him in the head, even though he was knocked out his past 3 fights. He's not. He's been knocked out. When was it? 4 out of his last 5.
Yeah.
He got knocked out. He won one by disqualification, and then got knocked out another 2 or 3 times. That's fucking horrible. Fighting Kevin Lee.
So my issue is okay.
Can you see this?
Regardless. Okay, I see what you did.
So you almost make. I would paint this in a bit more solid, right? But I would.
Or blend it. Blending.
Well, yeah, I can blend it this way, but this also has a bit of red tint on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, camera doesn't pick it up too well, but it automatically makes this teardrop look transparent. And with shading, it'll look like it's actually over this piece. Now you start making things pop out. I'm gonna, in the last few minutes that we have, really quickly try to give some type of shading to that.
So talking, right? And I don't know if you noticed the letters that I chose towards the end. I think I found my tag.
Good.
Because you said something that kind of like snapped, and it says, well, where you are at that moment, and I'm like, well, I am and always in most of the time in teacher mode, and that's kind of where I got TXR, because the X can also mean each. So teacher.
Can you see the shading next to it?
I do. I see it. Now it pops in. Sometimes the camera takes a little while to focus, but when it does, it goes rare. Focus is really hard.
And remember, it doesn't have to be offset, but if I was to do something
trunk 1,
like take the bottom part of this sombra y pegarlo aquí, it's going to look like this part is actually stuck to the paper. Okay. And I want it to look like it's above the paper.
Okay. So
now this isn't the correct pencil to do the shading, right? Otherwise, in here, I'd go just a little bit darker, pero como esto no es el lápiz el medio perfecto para hacer esto, I went light because I don't want that to look gray. I want it to look a grayish yellow. I want more yellow than anything.
Aren't there like pencils that do that shading? It's like whatever color it is that you choose, and you just use that one color gray and it goes over.
Well, you know what? If you as long as you're a little darker than your base color, you're shading, technically.
Okay, technically that's true. I just thought that, because remember how they had a
un pote spray de sombra.
Un pote spray de sombra. There's like no importa qué color tú le tiras.
Yeah, no, we don't. De lo que yo sepa, no existe.
Okay.
You know?
Flavor, what's up? The thing he's trying to get your attention, pa.
Yeah. Inflamable. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. You can just continue to do that. You can fill it up with designs.
That's
Uh
cool.
let's say I'm just take real quick. Let's say right, boom. Have some flower petals.
I love flowers.
Here's another thing you can do. I really can't tell if you can see it. You're not gonna be able to see, but on the bottom petal,
The dot dot dot.
the dot dot dot.
It's called an ellipsis, but yeah, I like it. You making an artistic ellipsis.
Then something as simple as just doing this. Then giving it little. Like I said, I'm doing this really fast. You can fill up your faces. You take that,
Right.
do it in different colors, or just give it its lines to give it some type of a dimension to it.
Look at that. Squiggle, 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 dot, dot, dot. Now we have a bouquet of flowers, a chrysanthemum or
Yeah,
dahlia.
because it's all the line. The shape of the line is going to give you what it is that you see.
That's gorgeous.
Now, if you paint that with the same everything that you use for all the shading, it'll
Hmm.
pop out even more.
Cool.
And just remember that whatever's closest to you is
Hmm.
going to be lighter than whatever's behind you.
Right.
And guys, I think we pretty much hit the end of the hour. This was
Do we?
fantastic. I hope
We
everybody
went
learned
over the
something
hour.
over the hour. I hope
All
everybody
right.
enjoyed. I
So
hope everybody learned. Uh,
recap real quick.
yes.
What are we doing in Torre del Viejo?
Uh,
As far as next week, ideas?
Um, I honestly have no idea what's going on next week. We can do another graph. Anybody who wants to come on the show, just holler at us. I'm pretty sure you have a lot of things to say about the whole Apple on the desk thing. We can do one of those.
Yeah, it's been a while since the Apple. I mean, I've been so into it that I'm like, I don't even want to vent about it. I just want to forget about it. But
Been that bad.
I should do a an Apple on the desk session about just how to tips and ideas on how to protect yourself, realities that we have to see, and sad things that people don't want to talk about that are true too. So yeah, Apple on the desk sounds like a good idea. Anything that you guys, as you know, would like to know as on Apple on the desk, if anything tickles your fancy, let me know. I'll be happy to look into it or find out. um yeah, I kind of wanted to go. Nice, look at that. I kind of wanted to go into I don't know, I'm gonna do some research. There's a couple of things that I
There's
wanted to
quite a
do,
few
but
things. We also have the idea that we're working on uh what was it? The perfect album.
the perfect album.
We're also working on that, but we'll keep everybody informed during the week. Keep checking up on our YouTube page, on our Facebook page. This is Torre del Viejo. Family, friends, everybody watching. One love. We're out.
Thanks for
Peace.
checking in. Thanks for the tips, Flavor. Thank you. Bye.